Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, August 7, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are on the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the dads be like in your ear recently. Also, feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future Joe in your specific area. Alright, so let's just take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that they have nothing highlighted as of their latest update. That's as of 7:28 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:28 p.m. Jamaica time. All we have is Debbie still across the waters of the southeastern United States coast. It's packing maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour to show that it has strengthened after being over land. If you remember the path that she took, definitely to the north and across portion of Florida, and now back over into the sea, definitely gassing up with all of the warm water over there. It was a minimal tropical storm yesterday, about 40 mile per hour winds packing. Now it's packing 60 mile per hour winds, and she is moving right now to the northeast at around 3 miles per hour, so she's moving very slowly, and she's expected to move back to the northwest and make landfall across portions of South Carolina, and then pushing northward and weakening back to a tropical depression as she shoots off towards the northeast around Friday. And we see that she still has a lot more to give in terms of rainfall. All of the greens represent 1 to 2 to even 3 inches of rainfall. The yellows represent 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. The gold represents 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. The oranges represent 8 to 12 inches of rainfall. So she's definitely going to do a number on northeastern South Carolina, central North Carolina, western Virginia, as she pushes towards the north across the eastern United States. So there's still a lot of flash flooding that could take place with her. Alright, so let us see what Andy Hazelton is talking about. He's actually a scientist at the NOAA. That's basically the same company that has to do with the National Hurricane Center. And he posted this tweet right here on his Twitter page at 5:47 p.m. He stated, GFS Ensemble has some development of the wave moving off Africa, but nothing like the drunk 18Z deterministic run. This will probably be our next system to watch, rogue model runs aside. So we know these models can definitely show some crazy things happening, pushing more west or developing into some monster hurricane. But for right now, the takeaway is that there is a tropical wave that's coming off of Africa, and it's definitely going to be developing sometime soon. We'll see how that goes. We can see it right here to the east of the Leeward Islands, and this is valid for 138 hours. Oh, this is valid for 12 on Tuesday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Tuesday, August 13. So if you have friends or relatives in the northeastern Caribbean, keep an eye out. Even although the Hurricane Center has nothing highlighted now, it's only a matter of time before they highlight something new. We've seen what the CPC showed, that's the Climate Prediction Center, the fact that there's something that's going to be developing down the line. So you just have to stay updated to see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens. If we take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's Atlantic tropical weather discussion, we see that they still have some tropical waves highlighted. If we zoom in, they have highlighted this tropical wave across the eastern tropical Atlantic, another tropical wave across the central tropical Atlantic, and another tropical wave across the central Caribbean that's pushing westward. And if we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic, we can see all of them being represented. The tropical wave to the east of the Caribbean, that's the central Atlantic tropical wave. The tropical wave across the eastern portion of the main development region, and the tropical wave that was across the central Caribbean now pushing towards the west. And we can also see Debbie right here across the southeastern United States. And we know that all of these tropicals are being steered by that ridge of high pressure toward north, everything pushing from east to west across the main development region into the Caribbean, not to mention the amount of dust coming off of the Sahara. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with Debbie still spinning away, still bringing cloud showers and thunderstorms to portions of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, sections of North Carolina, Virginia still getting in on the rainfall as we speak. We can also see a swirl of clouds right here associated with an upper level trough of low pressure. And we can see the clouds associated with a tropical wave that the Hurricane Center highlighted earlier this week that would have brought some rainfall to Jamaica, but we see that it did more of a southward motion across the southern Caribbean. So it's going to be bringing more in the way for rainfall to portions of Central America. It has already started since yesterday and there's still a lot more to come. So definitely Nicaragua, section of Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize going to be getting in on the most in the way for rainfall. And we can see the clouds associated with the other tropical waves across the main development region, but the most in the way of activity associated with them are across the intertropical convergence zone. That's where we know the air from the northern hemisphere meets the air from the southern hemisphere, and all of that causes more rising air, showers and thunderstorms across that area. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, August 7. It was stated that we would have received some afternoon rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. And we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, so St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? Around 2:15 p.m. a post was made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So around that time, 2:15 p.m., the visible satellite image was posted, and it showed clouds bring some overcast skies and isolated thunderstorms across sections of western and central parishes in Jamaica. And we also saw those sparkling yellow dots on the visible satellite image that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Definitely had some thunderstorm activity across sections of northern St. Catherine, southern St. Mary, sections of St. Anne, sections of St. Elizabeth, Hanover. And as the afternoon progressed, the thunderstorms definitely got even more robust. This satellite image was posted at around 3:45 p.m. highlighting the infrared, showing the high cold cloud tops. That's that deep convection, the thunderstorms that we know is represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, and the blacks, not to mention the sparkling white dust that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we still had a lot of thunderstorm activity taking place. And we saw the overcast skies, especially across sections of some southern parishes. As we know, the upper level wind shear was pushing all of this off towards the south, and we're going to be seeing that shortly when we look at the moving infrared satellite images. But we saw that we definitely had the thunderstorms definitely across sections of western and central parishes in Jamaica. We definitely had confirmation from some of our followers on our Instagram page right here and on our Twitter page. Well, I did get in on some comments from some persons on one of these social media platforms stating that they heard thunder in the distance. But if we take a look at the visible satellite images, we can see exactly what took place. We had more of that flow coming in more so from the east-southeast today. Definitely brought the clouds building across, especially northern parishes. And the thunderstorms definitely lashed portions of some western parishes in Jamaica. And we even had some isolated showers coming into sections of St. Thomas and Portland during the late evening hours before the sun started to go down. But as for the corporate area, we can see the halfway tree camera right here. Not much took place at all. It was a sunny day. This is as of 1:58 p.m. And keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. If you don't know by now, we have a partnership with that channel. They show live streams of Halfway Tree, Crossroads, the Kingston Harbor, the City View, and even the Bogwalk Gorge. So you can visit them even right now on YouTube. If we take a look at what took place today in terms of the infrared satellite images, we can see exactly what unfolded. The clouds definitely built up across especially central and western Jamaica, more so northern Jamaica than anything else. Definitely a section of St. Anne, Trelawney got on that deep convection, that thunderstorm activity, section of St. James, and over Westmoreland as usual. More of the overcast skies across the southern portion of the island, like southern St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. We did indeed get in on a brief isolated thunder shower activity at one point in northwestern St. Andrew, but that was just about it. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite image, so let's reload this and look at the latest one. This is as of 45 minutes past the hour. That's about 6:45 p.m. Considering that it's almost minutes to 7 p.m. now, we can see that most of the clouds are starting to clear out so that we can see the stars tonight. And even the Cuban Doppler radar images were showing the rainfall across western Jamaica, the greens, the yellows, oranges that represent some light to moderate and even heavy rainfall. Even the isolated shower that we saw in the visible satellite images coming into section of eastern St. Thomas. But unfortunately, the Doppler radar has glitched out. This is showing 6:10 p.m., which is actually 5:10 p.m. And if we reload the images, we see that it has definitely glitched out, going back all the way to 11 a.m. when nothing was happening. We know the drill. The Cuban Doppler radar glitches a lot, so we have to be dependent on other Doppler radars. We only hope that the Jamaican Doppler radar is fixed soon. As it relates to the temperatures right now, we can say we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Thursday. When you calculate that, that's 1 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellow colors that represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures on the key. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of August are almost the same as the month of July, 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 91 degrees Fahrenheit when calculated, it's about the same as 32.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. So please ensure that you stay out of the sun during peak hours and you stay hydrated as much as possible. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on a Thursday, we can see Jamaica right here under some Saharan dust. We see the lighter shades of browns. That's what we want to see for the most part. We don't see all of this darker shade of brown across the Jamaica area for that time. That we know represents that vigorous plume that can cause very hazy skies. Not to mention trigger some amount of asthma or sinusitis issues in some persons. All of this is pushing from east to west eventually, all courtesy of the high pressure to the north. So it's going to be getting there. What we only hope is that it dwindles down to something more like this. That can cause hazy skies and respiratory illnesses in some persons, but not to that effect. And we see that there's going to be a little break, so more of some blue skies in between right here as we head into Friday. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, majority of the Caribbean getting in on those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues that we can see by the key on the bottom right. That represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave heights to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 20 knots at most in the green. And we see the general direction for these winds coming in from the east. But as shown as the wind forecast for Jamaica, we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that an easterly flow is what we're going to be experiencing on a Thursday. More so coming in from the east, southeast, and the south coast. But it's definitely an easterly flow. And we also see that the air is going to be piling up where across sections of some northern and western parishes right there. So it might just have those cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, just like what happened today. And with the upper-level wind still coming in from the northeast, definitely going to be favoring more of the overcast skies across sections of some southern parishes again. So just like what we had today, the thunderstorms formulating across central and western Jamaica, and those high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the south and west, all courtesy of the upper level wind shear. If we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast, we can see that this map from the Euro and the GFS are both showing 12 a.m. on Thursday, which is actually 11 p.m. tonight. And we do see the blues represent rainfall where across eastern parishes in Jamaica. GFS trying to incorporate more of southern parishes. We'll see how that goes. Not so much on the Euro, but I guess we could say that we're already experiencing that, considering the flow. We can already see the clouds coming in from the east southeast right there. If we look closely, definitely saw the isolated shower coming into section of eastern Jamaica on the Cuban Doppler radar image earlier. So definitely eastern Jamaica already getting on that nighttime rainfall as predicted, with more to come. Taking a look at about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time, we see that both the Euro and the GFS are starting to become more in agreement with the rainfall that's expected for southern and eastern Jamaica. So maybe sections of southern St. Elizabeth, southern Manchester, Clarendon, section of southern St. Catherine, section of St. Thomas, Portland might still get in on some amount of rainfall on Thursday morning. And then by afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, shows some agreement that northern and western Jamaica are going to be getting in on the brunt of the afternoon rainfall. So anywhere from St. Mary westward, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland getting in on more rainfall, maybe even spilling into sections of St. Elizabeth, especially northern St. Elizabeth. And we'll take it, because we know the temperatures are hot. Most persons would rather get some rainfall to cool down the temperatures for sure. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that there's going to be some amount of rainfall somewhere in Jamaica tomorrow, even although it's a bit different in terms of the where. We see the Euro showing up to at least 0.56 of an inch of rainfall for the most part. The GFS showing up to at least 0.49 of an inch of rainfall. Either way, we'll take it to put some kind of a dent in the drought that some areas, well, not drought, but the high temperatures that some areas are currently experiencing. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have the clouds coming into portions of Central America associated with that tropical wave that the Hurricane Center was monitoring. But because of the wind shear that's going to be taking place, and the fact that it's running out of time, going to be crashing into land soon, it's not going to be developing anytime soon at all. So we're going to be focusing our attention on the numerous tropical waves across the main development region. So please stay tuned as time moves on, although these are pushing from east to west eventually. But we see that for the most part right now, it's just the Bahamas getting on some isolated showers, section of Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic with some thunderstorms. Nothing too drastic, nothing significant. If we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, you can see some isolated showers or two out to sea, near Puerto Rico, near the US and British Virgin Islands, east of Antigua and Barbuda, in and around Guadeloupe. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we do see some isolated showers in the blues and greens to the north of Barbados, coming into section of Barbados as we speak, section of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines getting on some of that isolated shower. Even section of Tobago, eventually Trinidad, are going to be getting on some rainfall. If you take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across section of southeastern Florida, Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, Honduras, section of the Dominican Republic, northern Venezuela getting on some of the action, even sections of Suriname and French Guyana getting on some isolated showers. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Thursday, but these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall. We can see by the key on the right how much rainfall they're going to get in inches. So the greens to the yellows represent up to 0.1 of an inch of rainfall, up to the 0.3 of an inch of rainfall range. And we see some of that in store for sections of the eastern Caribbean, so the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands, while we get in on more of an increase in the rainfall on both the Euro and the GFS. For northern South America, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, section of the Yucatan Peninsula. You can also see some rainfall in store for section of Cuba, the Bahamas, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast, even although the GFS is a bit more robust with the Eastern Caribbean's rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted in tomorrow's video. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.